Hey, how's it going, folks? James here for Paint Games and Cardboard, and welcome to another 10-minute board game review. And today I decided to keep it easy on myself and do a small one. So this one might not even hit 10 minutes. This might actually be quite a quick review. And today we're going to do Seasalt and Paper. Now this is a little cheap game. I think I got it on Amazon for $10, and I heard about it on a podcast, and it sounded really interesting. And it being a cheap game, I decided to go ahead and pick up. So what are my thoughts of this little teeny box game? Well, you're about to find out. So Seasalt and Paper is a single deck game, so just like any other games like Uno or Phase 10, there's 100 single deck games out there, right? And this kind of differentiates itself in a few different ways. So the primary means of playing this game, or the mode of play, and I kind of dealt out the hands a little differently. That way, you could see kind of more cards. So in the game, what's going to happen is on your turn, you're going to draw the top card of the deck, add it to your hand. And then you have to, you can play cards, but then you have to discard a card on top of one of the two discard piles. Now, seems relatively simple, right? Well, the whole purpose of the game is to try to get a hand of 7 or more points before all your opponents, and then you have one of two options. The first option is you can say, round is done, everybody's going to reveal their hands, and they're going to score whatever points are in their hands. The thing that's a twist on this, though, is that you can go ahead and decide to, I forget what it said, but you could say last round, where each of your opponents will get one more round, so they're going to get to play stuff and do all the things, but your goal is that your hand, or you think that your hand is going to beat the rest of the table, and if you do, you're going to score bonus points, and they're going to lose points. But then if they win, they score bonus points, and then you lose points. So it's kind of like a give and take. I believe for 2 players, you're playing to 30 points. And then more players, obviously, it's less points because there's, more players. And so the types of cards in the game are, you have points cards where they say how many you collect. So here, there's only 3 penguins in the deck. But if I have 2 penguins, it's worth 3 points. 3 penguins is worth 5. This one right here is worth 1 point for every boat in my hand. And then you have mermaids. So mermaids are pretty cool because if you can get all 4 mermaids in the deck in your hand, you win the game instantly. Or if you play these, which you can't play them, but at the end of round, they're going to score based on the number of cards in a color. So here I could say purple and score 2 points, right? So in this situation right here, I've only got 1 point here. This is worth 2, so that's 3. And then this is worth another point. So I have 4 points in my hand. So if I got to 7, I could go ahead and call the end of the round. Now you have other cards like the swimmers, crabs, and boats, where if you can get their partner, so in this case, if I had a second boat, right, they have special abilities. So boats, you can play 2 of them to take another turn. Crabs, you can play 2 of them to go through the discard pile and take 1 card of your choice out of it and then put it back. The cool thing is when you draw, which you can draw from the top of a discard pile, but when you draw, you always have to discard a card to one of these 2 piles. So kind of the whole goal is that you're going to want to pay attention to what people are grabbing, so that way you can cover up what they might actually want. So that way you're kind of preventing them from getting stuff. And yeah, that's roughly the game. You keep going till somebody wins, and probably 15, 20 minutes later, somebody wins the game. So super simple. So what are my thoughts? So my thoughts of Seasalt and Paper, it's a good game. Surprisingly, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I bought it thinking that it was something different. But it's kind of like Uno or a lot of those other games. But I like the mechanic where you get to basically you're trying to race for points, and then if you can beat everybody else, that you get bonus points. Adds a nice flow to the game. I've not every time we've played this game, there's never been a huge blowout where one player just wins overwhelmingly over the rest of the table, and it's always fun because you're always guessing if somebody's going to go out or if they have enough points, and then you're hoping that when you say, hey, the round's over, that you have more points than the rest of the table, and nobody was just kind of sandbagging and just stocking up points, which happens, So I think it's a pretty cool game. I don't really do scales 1 to 10 here. My biggest complaint about this game is that it's only 4 players. I kind of wish it was 5 players or maybe even 6. It feels like you don't go through the entire deck or even close to the entire deck. Both players start with 0 cards in hand and then you draw, right? So you don't even get a starting hand. So I feel like this game, maybe they could have balanced it a little bit more so that way you could get more players. So that's probably my biggest complaint because, like Uno, Phase 10, a lot of the other games, I think you can go up to like 6 players with a single deck, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Means that like these types of games tend to be like not a small. Now this is like a great game to throw in your purse or your backpack to play at like an airport or whatever. So maybe that's kind of what they're aiming for. But that's probably my biggest complaint. But overall, I think that it's a serviceable game. I wouldn't say it's like, and not gonna break any like, oh my god, this game was mind blowing. This game is incredible. But it's great. It's a good game. I can recommend it to people, and for only $10, why not? So, but thank you guys for watching this video. Check out my other videos here on paint games and cardboard. And until next time, this is James signing out. Bye.